This episode is brought to you by Samsung Music Frame.
I really love when furniture and architecture almost start to blend. Something that we always think about is trying to find the right balance between what's built in and what is freestanding furniture. And that really provides a longevity for a project, both with flexibility for our clients and any future owner or occupant of the apartment. We wanted to explore two things in our concept for this apartment. One was working really hard to create a sense of space rather than just maximizing storage. And the second one was to push the material palette to a really luxurious, calm, earthy, and slightly beachy feel. This apartment building is located in Bondi Beach. Bondi Beach is about 15 minutes east of the Sydney city. There's celebrities and models at one end of the spectrum and backpackers and students at the other end. Similarly, you end up with diversity of cafes and restaurants and properties varying from both small apartments up to some of the most expensive property in Australia. Our client is a young professional who wanted to be both close to work and the beach. This apartment's located in an Art Deco building. We think it was built around the 1930s. It's always really nice working in an Art Deco building. They just naturally have a lot of charm. You usually get at least two sides of windows, which allows for cross ventilation and just that much more light to filter into the space. The first thing for us when we got this apartment was to really gut it. There was a lot of corridor and a lot of tight, small rooms in what isn't a big apartment. We were really gifted with this apartment that it predominantly faces north, which really meant there was no reason for us to radically rethink the floor plan. We removed the walls to the kitchen and got rid of the door heads and a little bulkhead into the corridor space, just so the spaces flowed a bit more.
We love Samsung Music Frame's sleek contemporary design, which blends perfectly with Brett's neutral elegance design, whether it is on the stone kitchen bench, in the bedroom, or hanging on the wall in the luxe living room. The standout feature, you can easily switch the artwork on the Samsung Music Frame. The owner of the apartment took these two photos, and we are swapping the photos of his recent camping trip, which was printed on a custom acrylic panel with a printed photo of surfers on the beach he took during his travel. Nice! You can also stream your favorite tunes directly from mobile via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and it comes with built-in Alexa. Play some music. And also work with Google Chromecast, AirPlay, and Spotify. White Sweet Spot, which features three-way stereo speakers that distribute synchronized sound evenly, offering balanced, high-quality audio throughout your home. An immersive 3D sound from Dolby Atmos invites you into a richer audio experience. Samsung Music Frame, an innovative blend of sound and style perfectly tailored to any home.
One of the really nice things about this apartment is when you walk in, you just don't feel contained. You immediately have space, even though it's not a huge apartment. The first room when you walk into the apartment is really the kitchen. So it was important for us that the kitchen didn't feel too much like a kitchen. You know, we kind of wanted the kitchen island to almost balance being joinery and a piece of furniture and being a really beautiful object. Having a slide out dining table really created some flexibility in this space. Day to day, it means you just have more room for living and circulation, but if you've got guests over, you can seat 4 people. The slide out table meant we had to be quite clever about how we Tetris things together on the other working side of it. We decided to do 2 underbench fridges rather than a full height fridge so that we both created a really great sense of space. Again, making the kitchen not feel like a kitchen and also not blocking any light. We use two materials in the kitchen, stainless steel and travertine. The stainless steel is really hard wearing and functional, and the travertine is beautiful and soft. On the other side of the kitchen, we've got a washing machine, oven, dishwasher, bin storage, a 2-burner induction cooktop, a large sink and a couple of extra drawers. One of the great things about using stainless steel is we could integrate the sink, and we went for a nice large one rather than having two little ones. So instead of having cupboards covering a window up, the shelf does a few things. One, it really helps maintain a lot of light coming into the apartment, and beautifully things that sit on top of that shelf get lit up through that natural light. Not having anything at a high level also helps increase that sense of space, so you never feel like the room's enclosing in on you. And it also presented an opportunity to have strip lighting underneath it to light the kitchen bench. We're very considerate about our lighting. Most of it's hidden, and we have uplit the ceilings in a lot of locations. We intentionally left the living room free of any built-in joinery to create an opportunity for the client to add to it over time and to build its own character, but also creating a really beautiful space. And sometimes if you build in furniture everywhere, it almost feels like a tighter apartment than it necessarily is. I think an attribute of bigger apartments is you do have these open spaces that are really flexible. It's really nice having tiles in the apartment because you live so close to the beach. When you come back with sand all over the place, you won't scratch them and they'll wear really well over time. Because it's such an old building, some of the walls just aren't straight and square. However, mosaic tiles are almost perfectly square. So to deal with that clash, we installed a travertine border. In the hallway to the bedroom, we had the opportunity for some full height storage, partly as an overflow for the main bedroom, but also for all the stuff that nobody wants to admit exists in a tiny little apartment, like your Dyson, your brooms, your mops, your cleaning products. But thinking about it meant that we put power in the right location. You kind of get drawn to the bedroom through a beautiful sandcast bronze light by a designer called Henry Wilson. The bedroom has the nicest outlook with a really wide sash window that looks onto a beautiful frangipani. On one side of the bedroom, we have floor-to-ceiling storage, but so the room didn't feel smaller, we split the storage into two parts. One, drawers down low, then we had an open shelf, and then storage for hanging above that. We didn't want to have any downlights on the ceiling in the bedroom, so instead we added strip lights inside the wardrobes to help with both functionality of seeing the space, but also a little touch of luxury. And at the back of that little shelf, we had a mirror that just doubles that sense of space. The shelf becomes a really great spot for putting objects and alleviates the requirement for too much stuff to go on a bedside table. The feel of the bathroom departs a little bit from the rest of the apartment. We reorganised the whole bathroom but maintained the two north-facing windows. We used a beautiful Moroccan handmade tile in the bathroom, and whilst the colour departs from the rest of the apartment, it still tonally ties in. A datum splits the colour of the tiles with the lighter white tiles just to help the space feel a little bit brighter, lighter and more open. To make the most of the space in the bathroom, we created a combined shower bath. And I call it a shower bath because it's more shower, but you could fill it up and use it as a kind of pseudo-Japanese tub if you wanted to. The mirror in the bathroom runs from wall to shower and really helps make what is a very tight bathroom feel quite comfortable. Vertical heated towel rails, take up less space, but also heat down the length of the towel. We didn't do too much to the second bedroom / study. It's being used as a home office right now, but we wanted the flexibility that it could one day become a second bedroom. The thing that we loved about this apartment was it was a real exercise in quality over quantity, and that's something that we think is really important in all building work. What we're building from a sustainability point of view should be able to last the test of time. We're not just thinking about how to cram as much stuff in as possible, but we're always thinking about trying to find the right balance between storage for what you need and also flexibility of the space and the sense of space beyond that.
Sign up to our newsletter for subscriber-only content and exclusive offers. Visit nevertoosmall.com/subscribe.